Iran's retaliatory strikes against American interests in the Middle East have escalated sharply. In the latest incident, Iran launched a drone that attacked the U.S. consulate in Dubai. Dubai's government office said that a drone hit the U.S. consulate, resulting in a fire. Video footage shared on social media showed black smoke rising near the consulate. Dubai authorities said the strike caused a limited fire with no injuries reported. According to the New York Times, Iran's state broadcaster IRIB confirmed that an Iranian drone had hit the U.S. consulate in Dubai. Dubai's media office said in a statement posted online that Dubai authorities have confirmed that a fire resulting from a drone-related incident near the U.S. consulate has been successfully contained. It added that emergency teams responded immediately. Dubai authorities reaffirmed their commitment to ensuring everyone's safety and security, they wrote. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said all personnel are accounted for when asked about Iran's attack on the U.S. consulate in Dubai.
As I came in, I also saw the media reports about Dubai's consulate. The last update I had with seconds before getting before these cameras was that a drone unfortunately struck a parking lot adjacent to the Chancellery building and set off a fire in that place. All personnel are accounted for. As you're aware, we began drawing down personnel from our diplomatic facilities in advance of this. In the cases, for example, of Beirut, we basically drew down to bare bones, as well as in Baghdad and in Erbil and in a couple other posts as well. So we've been very fortunate, obviously, but our embassies and our diplomatic facilities are under direct attack from a terroristic regime.
The U.S. embassies and diplomatic missions are increasingly coming under fire in the Middle East. The incident comes as the U.S. Embassy in Saudi Arabia was struck by 2 drones on March 2nd, resulting in a limited fire and minor material damage to the building. Amid the rise in Iranian attacks, the U.S. Embassy has urged Americans in Jeddah, Riyadh, and Tehran to shelter in place. On March 3rd, the U.S. Embassy in Kuwait also announced that it would be closed until further notice.
The State Department is now actively, as it has been now for the last 72 hours, implementing our plans to help Americans in the Middle East be able to depart. As of a few minutes ago before I left, 9,000 Americans have been able to leave the region since the start of this war. We have about 1,500 Americans that are requesting assistance with departure. We have identified and continue to identify charter flights, military flight options, and expanded commercial flight options, meaning working with the airlines to send bigger airplanes with more seats, and the combination of those 3 things. The impediment we're facing now, in many cases, we've had a couple instances in which we have planes in the air and on the way, and unfortunately the airspace gets closed and they have to turn back around, so we're working through those challenges. Here's the message I want to deliver Americans who are in the Middle East and in need of assistance. It is very important, and I ask this of the networks as well, it is important for you to please put both the website and the phone numbers on your screens, because we need people, we need to know where you are. We need to have contact information for Americans that need assistance. They have to register with us, because as these options begin to open up, and as they open up, we have to be able to call you, we have to be able to reach you, we have to be able to know where you're staying, so we can get this information to you and coordinate appropriately. And it'll be a variety of methods: charter flights, military flights and transports, expanded commercial opportunities, and in some cases land routes that will allow them to go to neighboring countries who might have open airports at that point. So it's a lot of different things here that need to happen in order to move people, but it all starts by knowing that you're there. It all starts by knowing that where you are and how we can get a hold of you. We've had, thousands of people call already. As I said, we've identified almost 1,600 that are requesting assistance with departure, but we need you to please be able to identify that. You're about to see, we're going to unleash Cheng on these people in the next few hours and days. You're going to really begin to perceive a change in the scope and in the intensity of these attacks as, frankly, the 2 most powerful air forces in the world take apart this terroristic regime and defang it and take away its ability to threaten its neighbors or hide behind a zone of immunity that allows them to develop their nuclear ambitions. This terroristic, radical, cleric-led regime cannot be ever allowed to have nuclear weapons. We saw what they were willing to do to their own people. They were willing to slaughter their own people in the streets. Imagine what they would do to us. Imagine what they would do to others. Under President Trump, that will never, ever happen.
Meanwhile, Israel said Iran tried to attack its diplomatic mission in the UAE on March 3rd. According to the Times of Israel, citing Hebrew media reports, Israel conducted a covert extraction of part of its embassy staff in the UAE, claiming they foiled Iran's attack plots. The Israeli Foreign Ministry stated that, in light of concrete threats against Israeli missions in the UAE, and at the request of security authorities, non-essential staff were evacuated from the United Arab Emirates. In both Abu Dhabi and Dubai, diplomatic teams remain in place to ensure the continued and uninterrupted handling of diplomatic and consular affairs, the ministry added. According to UAE's defense ministry, since the start of the war on February 28th, the UAE has been targeted by more than 800 drones and 200 missiles. Iran has been ferociously attacking Israel and U.S. military installations in the Gulf after the killing of its supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei.
News never stops. The world keeps turning, and every turn tells a story. Wars, elections, geopolitics, Davids versus Goliaths.
While everyone is celebrating the US-China trade thaw, Trump has been quietly doing something else across Asia.
These were once home to the ancient Silk Road connecting east and west.
But who's connecting the dots? Who's decoding the global storm? Welcome to Times of India videos.
You're watching a special edition of Global Pulse with me, Neha Khanna.
בהנחיה שלי ושל שר הביטחון ישראל כץ.
Durante este año,
We decode the shifting grains of geopolitics to you. From Washington to Wuhan.
Встановлені домовленості і сьогодні підписуються.
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Just 2 years ago, Canada was one of the most popular countries for Indian students.
From Davos to Delhi, we track the decisions that move markets, shift policies, and shape the future. No jargon, no bias, just clear, credible, global journalism. Because understanding the world doesn't have to be complicated, it just has to be smart. And that's what we do best. At Times of India videos, we don't just tell stories, we build perspective. We connect the dots between what's global and what's personal, what's happening out there, and what it means for you. It's fast. It's fearless. It's making sense of the changing world order. Times of India videos. Because your worldview is just a tap away.